Gen X, we need to have a word. Are we too old to start over? Or have we just gotten disgustingly good at being comfortable? Not the good kind of comfortable. Sunday, sofa, phone off, that one's earned. Don't touch it. I mean the other kind. The comfort that looks incredible from the outside. Good job, good salary, a life that photographs beautifully for people who will never actually live it. And underneath, quietly, it stopped fitting you years ago. I know that comfort intimately. I lived inside it for 4 years in a company I knew was a mess from month one. Month one. I loved the actual work. I was good at it. And I loved seeing that what I did actually made a difference. The company running it? A dumpster fire in a blazer. So naturally, being the fierce independent woman I am, I marched out the door immediately. No, I stayed 4 years for the money. And I refuse to apologize for that because that's not a character flaw. That's called being a grown up with a rent to pay. Here's what I got right. I stayed, I took the money. Here's what I got embarrassingly wrong. I never built a single thing on the side because when one income is purring along nicely, why bother? Life was working. Why fix what isn't broken? I'll tell you why. Because it broke anyway. And here's the problem. You don't get to decide when that happens. Nobody sends you a calendar invite. That was a few years ago. The company hit trouble. The work vanished overnight. No warning, no dramatic music. And that's when it hit me. Comfort had quietly turned into dependence, and I never even felt the switch flip. One company, one income, one decision that was never mine to make. And suddenly it was entirely my problem. Here's what I believe now with my whole chest. I will never again let one source of income own that much of my life. Doesn't matter what it is, an employer, a client, YouTube, a business, a rich husband I don't currently have. The second everything runs through one pipe, that pipe doesn't just give you security. It owns you fully with interest. So what did I do when the income disappeared? Sit down calmly with a coffee and ask what life would actually fit me long term? Nope, I panicked. I grabbed the first shiny opportunity that DM'd me and threw myself in headfirst like a woman who had learned nothing. This one was a scam, a proper one. Congratulations to me. Let's recap the career trajectory here. Very well paid, to working like an absolute maniac for pennies on something going precisely nowhere. Incredible decision making under pressure. 10 out of 10. Would not recommend to my worst enemy. But here's the actual mistake, and it's not the one you think. The mistake wasn't losing that job. Companies fall apart. That's just weather. You don't get to be shocked by weather. The mistake was building nothing of my own while the sun was still out. A couple of rough years later, I'm doing it differently. I'm building YouTube, building another business, and keeping some independent work alive while I do it. Do I want 5 jobs? God, no. I'm not trying to escape one boss just to become my own worst one, working 70-hour weeks. That's not freedom. What I actually want is options. If one thing slows down, something else is already running. If one thing dies, I don't spiral, I redirect, like a woman with a backup plan, which shockingly is a new experience for me. And here's what those 4 comfortable years taught me about age, whether I asked for the lesson or not. I used to think being stuck meant standing still. Wrong, dead wrong. Stay still long enough and you go backward. Because everything else keeps moving without asking your permission first. Technology moves, your industry moves, the job market moves, your body starts having opinions loudly at 3 a.m., uninvited, and none of them are polite. 5 years pass. You're not standing where you were. The ground moved. You didn't. That terrifies me more than any new beginning ever could. And here's where Gen X lies to itself a little, and I include myself in this, so nobody gets comfortable. We say, I'm being realistic, very dignified. much classier than the honest version, which is, I'm scared shitless and I do not want to be bad at something in front of people again. Because that's the real thing, isn't it? By this age, we are used to knowing. Decades spent clawing our way to competent. And then you try something new and poof, you're an idiot again, live on camera for strangers. I'm 59, learning YouTube. Do you know how humbling that is? One day you think, okay, I'm actually getting good at this. Then YouTube hands you a video, 12 views and a shrug. Thank you, duly noted, very motivating. Editing, thumbnails, algorithms, online business, LinkedIn strategy. Apparently, at 59, I looked in the mirror and thought, what this woman needs is homework and a headache. And here's the part I genuinely did not see coming. I'm happier doing this badly than I ever was doing the sensible thing well. I actually tried the sensible route again, very recently. Interviewed for a really good job on paper, thinking, get the salary, get the security. Very responsible, very adult, very beige. And then I had an uncomfortable little thought creep in. Why was I fighting so hard to rebuild the exact life I was trying to live? I say I want freedom. I say I want to build something mine. Then, the second I get scared, I go sprinting back to whoever will hand me a paycheck and a lanyard. At some point, you have to actually choose, not recklessly, deliberately, with your eyes open and your ass slightly clenched. So no, I'm not telling you to torch your life. Get out of your comfort zone is a bumper sticker, not a strategy. And whoever is selling it to you on a $40 mark does not know your rent. Sometimes your comfort zone is exactly what's funding your next chapter. Use it shamelessly. Sometimes staying is the smart move. Stay. Sometimes you need the security while you quietly build the exit underneath it. But know why you're staying and learn to recognize when staying stops protecting you and starts owning you. Use security. Don't become owned by it. That's the difference I'm still learning to see in real time at 59 with no map. Are we too old to start over? No. But it does get more complicated. And anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something. By now, we have more to lose. Careers, income, homes, relationships, routines, entire identities built brick by brick over decades of doing it right. At 25, you jump because there's barely anything behind you to lose. At 59, you check the drop first. You check it twice. You maybe bring snacks. I don't call that weakness. I call it experience. But experience should make you smarter about risk. It should never become your excuse to stop taking any. So please don't watch this and think Tal said quit your job. I did not say that. Do not send me your electricity bill. I already have my own. Here's what I'm actually asking. Look at whatever is making your life feel secure right now and be brutally honest with yourself. No lipstick on it. Is this security helping me build the life I actually want, or has protecting my security become my entire life? There's a time to stay comfortable, a time to collect the paycheck and quietly build what comes next. But here's what I learned the hard way. If you don't move when you have the choice, sometimes life makes the choice for you. Mine did. It kicked my ass pretty hard. And looking back, I needed it. Not because you have to blow up your life. You don't. You just have to move. Build one thing, learn one thing, create one option your future self will actually thank you for instead of one she has to forgive you for. Because I don't think the opposite of stuck is success. It is movement. At 59, I have no idea where any of this ends up. But I know I'm done standing still. And honestly, I'm getting a little too old to waste good years being just comfortable. I'm Tal, and this is the Badass Shift. If you've ever stayed somewhere for the money or the safety instead of the fit, tell me in the comments what kept you there.